What kind of things have people been asking you all day?
They ask about two or three things.
Okay.
These are the three general topics: prophets of rage,
yes.
what's going on,
yes.
Rage Against the Machine, is it ever going to happen again, and were you really an exotic dancer?
Well, I guess I'm going to scratch off the exotic dancer question I had prepared for you. So, yeah, I'm sure you probably get the rage thing. I was just telling somebody this story today. So I grew up in Buffalo, and I was on the radio out there, and believe it or not, somebody that worked across town at an AC radio station told me about you guys. And they're like, yeah, between...
It penetrated even the depths of adult contemporary.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I know. While he's playing the Carpenters or whatever, he's discovering Rage Against the Machine,
Yes,
but, yeah, that's cool, man. Well, it's really great to talk to you. I'm a big fan, and looking forward to Prophets of Rage coming up on September 15th when that record drops right there. And I was thinking about this also. It's been a long time since you've really recorded some of your own stuff, right?
Yes, yeah. I think the Last Night Watchman record came out in 2011 or 12, and I've been working on a solo record, kind of a big rock solo record, which we'll hear music from probably early next year.
Really,
right now it's like it's all Prophets of Rage all the time, man. We just finished a European festival run, and in the last year we've played in front of 2.5 million people, and it's just been pretty insane how this band kind of came out the gates pretty hard. It's really exciting. Well,
you're no stranger to supergroups, and this is, for all intents and purposes, a supergroup as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, supergroup I think is a moniker that can kind of go either way. But I always looked at it as kind of this, elite cadre of revolutionary musicians, come together. And at times it's kind of like the bat signal is up in the sky, and Prophets of Rage answered the call.
I do a lot of interviews, and none of the musicians ever talk about their elite cadre. So that's something different.
Well, the message is in the mosh pit, my friend.
There you go. So tell us the flavor of this record. I mean, of course, you got Radical Eyes has just been dropped, and we've heard some of this stuff so far. Radical Eyes, by the way, I thought when I first started listening to it, this sounds like an Audioslave song until the vocals start.
Right. Well, I mean, Tim and Brad and I have had this pretty incredible musical chemistry. We've been playing together now for a quarter of a century. But each band, any band you're in order for it to be good, in order for it to stand on its own 2 feet, in order for it to be great, has to find its own chemistry. And when we toured the U.S. last year, we had such a great time as friends and as musicians and as collaborators. We came off of that tour and said, well, can we write a song? We had a great time kind of playing the Rage songs and rageifying the Public Enemy and Cypress songs. But then we went in this rehearsal studio and wrote about 10 songs in 2 weeks. And it was the most fun and fertile creative period that I've had since the first Rage record. And we're like, this is awesome. Like, this is what it's supposed to be like when you're in a band. Like, everybody's open to each other's ideas, and it's devastatingly rocking and super funky. So we're really psyched about this record, and there's 3 jams out now: Un-F the World, Living on the 110, and Radical Eyes. Yeah, and you're talking about, writing songs and stuff. Now, you did some stuff with Bruce Springsteen. Did you help him? Did you write a lot of stuff with Bruce Springsteen, or were you just kind of like a hired gun that came in and played some of the tracks? Bruce Springsteen writes his own songs. Right. It was wonderful, though, to be able to collaborate with him and to play on a couple of Bruce records and to tour the world with him. He's one of my favorite artists of all time, and to, be standing next to him playing Born to Run or doing kind of dueling guitar solos with him on Ghost of Tom Joad. It's can't even say it's a dream come true because I never dared dream it. Well, I guess the point I'm getting at is that, you didn't really write stuff with Bruce like you were just explaining. So I'm sure when you got in the studio, man, you were just chomping at the bit to get some stuff written, huh? Oh, sure. And I always, I have this kind of ongoing, kind of riff. I'm writing all the time, but it was great to go in the studio with Prophets and, take the juiciest 10, and see them come to life with 2 of my favorite MCs, Chuck D and Be Real. And always playing with Timmy and Brad is a real pleasure. Now, when you go into the studio, do you have a bunch of riffs, like you said? Do you have riffs like, just rattling around in your cage, and then you pull it out, and those guys write the lyrics, or how's the process work? It happens different ways at different times, but with this, I had some ideas. Timmy had some great ideas, and we just go in and we jam on them. And everybody this is probably the single most collaborative record that I've ever worked on, because both B and Chuck were open to thematic ideas or lyrics. Those guys would kind of say, "Oh, that's the riff that I'm really feeling," and it was just a great time, and it really shows. And we made the record with producer Brendan O'Brien, who's one of my favorite producers. From his Bruce stuff to his Chili Pepper stuff to his Rage stuff to his Audio Slave stuff, he's got a great ear, and we had a real ball in the studio making this record.
Yeah, speaking of Audio Slave, of course, here in Detroit, we got to witness the last show with Chris Cornell, and your tweet or whatever that you put out was fantastic. And I know you mentioned something about his ridiculously beautiful hair. I thought that was a nice touch.
It's true. I don't think I'll ever recover from his passing, but we have so many great memories, and I was just really glad that I was able to, we played an Audio Slave show, the first one in 12 years in January, and so to be able to reconnect with him, and both as friends and as musical collaborators, that's something that I'm so glad we were able to do. And
you also had a chance to play on a Linkin Park track too, and then we lose Chester. I mean, this year's been absurd.
It's insane. I don't need to tell you. It's a horrible loss to the world of music, but also a horrible loss because they were two. I didn't know Chester as well, but just like two really good people.
Yeah.
And both seem very inexplicable. Their passing, and so I think you just gotta really, I'm not someone who suffers from depression, so I don't understand it, but you really gotta, for all your listeners out there, if you do know someone who has, addiction issues or depression issues, like that's a real thing, and to always make sure that they know that you're there for them.
Yeah, I was talking to a head from Korn just last week, and he talked a lot about it and stuff, and he said that maybe something good will come of this. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about like other people and other fans and stuff.
Yeah,
maybe they'll realize they're not alone.
We got to look after each other, because I saw Chris in January, and we had texted a couple times after that, and he was great. On a scale of 100, he was 100.
Yeah.
He was happy. He's got a beautiful family. We talked about doing more Audio Slave stuff, maybe even this year.
Really?
Yeah, and so it's just a real pity. So.
Yeah, I saw you guys play a couple times here in the Detroit area, man. What a great band. You're talking about festival dates. You got some pretty cool festival dates coming up here in the fall. You got Ozfest and Louder Than Life and all sorts of great stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So we're starting. Prophet's record comes out September 15th, and we're doing this run of like club shows and playing the Apollo in New York and in Stone Pony in Asbury Park, and then we're going to rock some of the big festival shows. It's going to be a pretty exciting end of the year.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's my time is coming to an end here, Tom. I just want to thank you. It's always a privilege and a pleasure to talk to you. But I just want to ask you one final thing here, and you probably talked about this before. I couldn't really find anything about this. Did you name one of your kids after Randy Rhoads?
Yeah, my firstborn son is Rhodes Morello.
Okay.
After Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads was the poster on. Meanwhile, my secondborn son Roman is here right now doing his best to distract me from this interview. But he's eager for Dad to get on the phone and begin entertaining him this summer, which I will do very soon. But yeah, so Randy Rhoads was the poster I had in my in my dorm room, and when I was practicing 8 hours a day. That was my principal inspiration.
Have you ever had a chance to play with Ozzy?
I have.
Wow.
I've rocked Mr. Crowley with Ozzy. And let me tell you, as a guy, with Randy Rhoads is my greatest of all time, that was quite a moment.
I can imagine. I talked to Rudy Zarzo a few months ago, and I didn't realize those records were both recorded within a few months of each other, and they're so different.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, and that just speaks to like the tragedy of Randy's passing too. Whenever a great musician it's such a shame that and for you, your listeners who are maybe musicians or not, but if you do have addiction issues, or there's always somebody there. Help is always there for you if you can just reach out to get it, because it's just a shame to lose anyone.
Yeah, there you go. Well, listen, Tom, thanks so much for your time. Good luck. The record drops on September 15th. The new Prophets of Rage, and we'll see you here somewhere in the Motor City, but of course crisscrossing the country this fall.
Yeah, I look forward to being back in Detroit. Some of my favorite shows ever have been there. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, the Midwest craves the rock and roll like that.
You got it. We're ready to deliver.
All right, thanks, Tom. Thanks so much.
Okay, take care. Goodbye.
And there you have it. Short and sweet. Tom Morello today on the Radio Chatter podcast. Hope you guys dug that, as the new record will be dropping mid-September. Listen, if you get a chance, give us a rating, write a review, do that whole thing. Follow me on Twitter as well, at Meltdown WRIF. As a matter of fact, all my social media are Meltdown WRIF. Like I said before the interview started, Stevie Benton from Drowning Pool is coming up on Monday afternoon. I'm on vacation next week, but I thought I'd give you guys one good one there. Talked to Stevie for quite a while about a lot of things revolving around Drowning Pool and around, well, his part of the world. Plus, Kenny Wayne Shepherd's coming up in the near future, working on some other ones as well here and there. So trying to give you guys a little bit of rock and roll for your brains and for your ear holes right here as far as the Radio Chatter podcast goes. Once again, thank you guys so much for checking it out. We'll do it again real soon.